The New York Knicks, they just wrapped up their first week of training camp. That was in Charleston, South Carolina, and they're playing their first preseason game on Monday night. New York Post Knicks beat reporter Stephen Bondi. He's been with the team throughout training camp, and he joins me now. Steph, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. I feel like we're getting closer every day to the season. We're almost there. And Steph, we spoke last week at Media/Content Day, and there was a strong message from the team about continuity. This week, you wrote about individual and team development. Which Knicks players do you think need to show individual improvement this season?
Well, I think need is a strong word unless they're in a contract year, but I think it's important for sure for RJ Barrett to show improvement. He was the one guy that I feel like kind of regressed a little bit. And this is a guy who he kind of fluctuates between when fans think of him, hey, this is a future cornerstone guy, or when, you can think about this is just like a career role player. And you never know which kind of RJ you're going to get, I think. And I feel like for him, the most important thing is improving his jumper, which has been inconsistent. I think that's really the thing that's going to separate him between being those two types of players that I just talked about, and his defense. I think his defense kind of took a step back last season. And when you look at his numbers in terms of steals and blocks per game, they're really not indicative of a guy that had the goal, as he said, of being an all-defensive player. So I think that's the one guy that I look at and say he really needs to take a step forward. He really needs to improve.
All right, looking at RJ Barrett, and a lot of Knicks fans will be looking at that. I think people look a lot at the shooting numbers, but the defense obviously important there too. Now, Jericho Sims, he's been highlighted as a standout in camp. How has the young center impressed going into year 3? Yeah,
I mean, listen, we don't get to see much of the workouts other than free throw shooting at the end. So I'm relying on things that I'm hearing and what Thibodeau says. And from what I'm hearing and from what Thibodeau said is this is a guy that is really impressed, considering especially he's just coming off shoulder surgery. And I think he's a guy that they're going to have to rely upon because they did not really replace Obi Toppin, right? They're going to say that they're going to play Josh Hart at the backup 4. I think they're going to see that. We're going to see that a lot. We're going to see RJ Barrett at the backup 4. But if they want to go big, like they did, like when they had Obi Toppin, who's a big player, but he wasn't a great rebounder. They're going to go big. Jericho Sims is going to get time at that position. Beyond that, I mean, I think we've seen from Mitchell Robinson's career, he's not the most durable guy, and he gets into foul trouble. So there might be, a lot of opportunities for Jericho Sims to step in there as a third center after Isaiah Hartenstein and get some minutes. And so far, he's impressed in camp and giving them something to think about for sure.
Yeah, something to think about for sure. We also saw some minutes last year where we saw Sims and Hartenstein on the court together. Wonder if we'll see some of that again this year and if Sims is able to crack into that rotation. All right, here we go, Steph. The Knicks are going to host the Celtics on Monday night, first of 4 preseason games. What can fans expect in terms of playing time for the main rotation players against the Celtics?
So the way Thibodeau outlined it yesterday was, we're going to use the starters in 3 of the 4 preseason games, starting with the opener. But certainly in the opener against the Celtics, it's going to be fewer minutes for the starters, and they're going to gradually build until they get to the final game where we'll see more of a regular rotation. The weird thing about this, and I don't understand this at all, is that the Celtics are coming in off a back-to-back. They're playing Philly tonight. So then they're flying, they're flying to New York. They're going to play the Knicks on a back-to-back in the preseason. So I don't know who the Celtics are going to play. I don't know if we'll see Drew Holiday or Porzingis or Tatum. So it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow how the Celtics certainly play that out. I'm going to be watching them tonight against Philly. And then, I think that won't change the Knicks' plans. But I think as fans, you kind of want to see, hey, this is a big matchup. This is the matchup that's going to happen in the regular season opener. I don't think you're going to see the Boston Celtics full rotation and lineup out there tomorrow night.
Yeah, probably very unlikely. Back-to-backs in the preseason.
Makes no sense. The Knicks by the way, the Knicks also have one at the end of the preseason, and they're like, "Well, I've never seen this before." So it's crazy.
I was just thinking the same thing. I couldn't remember the time I've seen back-to-backs in the preseason. Well, this is what they have to deal with. We'll see who the Celtics are out there and who the Knicks. They'll have their starters out there on Monday night at the Garden. We shall see. Stephen Bondi will be there covering that game. The new Knicks beat reporter for the New York Post. Steph, always good to talk to you. We'll chat again soon.
Yeah, of course, anytime.